Hello and welcome to
Java Super Tutorials 1.
In this tutorial we'll learn what a compiler does, what we need to download to start with Java, and how to make a simple program in Java. First, let's go over how the compiler works. So you start out with some amazing Java code that you just love, but you really need to know how it runs with the compiler. So the code gets sent to the compiler. What the compiler does is it translates the Java code into a bunch of zeros and ones that is known as bytecode or machine code, and that's what the computers actually understand and run. So it changes it into those zeros and ones, then the computer executes those zeros and ones, and we get our program output. So here's what we need to download in order to get started with Java. We need the JDK, or the Java Development Kit, and this is what contains our compiler and a bunch of libraries that we can access later to make our programs fancy. And then we also need an IDE, or Integrated Development Environment, and this is what's going to help us with debugging our files and finding errors with it. In this tutorial we're going to use Eclipse. Alright, let's get started with our download. Let's go to Safari, or your local internet browser. It's Safari for Macs. And let's go to the Google search and search for JDK. And let's click this first link that we see, Java SE Downloads. It'll bring up the Oracle website. Hit the left button and then accept the license agreement. That way we can actually download it. And then if you know what your system is, most of you are running Windows, download the file based on that system. So if you're running Windows, you need to know if it's 86 or 64-bit. And then open up that file once it's downloaded, run it, and it'll walk you through the steps to install the JDK. Next, let's search for Eclipse and click the first link you see. Then go over and hit Downloads, and it'll bring up a bunch of different versions of Eclipse. We got Eclipse IDE for Java EE developers, but we're using the SE. So let's just let's download the Eclipse Classic. That's your best bet for this tutorial. And you choose what operating system you have again, and then click on the link, and it'll begin your download. And then once that's downloaded, double click on the file, and it'll extract the folder for you. And then go to your downloads, drag that folder onto your desktop for easy access, and then we're going to close out of our internet browser. Now on your desktop, make a new folder and call it Eclipse Workspace. This is where we're going to save all our work, and again, we want it on the desktop for easy access. Once we have that named, let's click on our Eclipse folder and open up the Eclipse program. Sorry. You're going to have to say run it, probably. It'll open up the window, and then you'll be asked for selecting a workspace. Since we made it on the desktop for easy access, let's find that folder so we can save to it automatically. Let's hit open and OK. Then we wait a second, and here is our Eclipse IDE for us. Let's maximize it real quick, and pretty much hit the workbench since we're starting out. Okay, this is what the project editor is like. Let's go to File, New, Java Project. We're going to start making the program I was talking about earlier. Let's call this project Hello World. This is the simplest type of Java Java program, we're just going to print out hello world to the console. So just follow the steps as I'm going along. If you hit the drop box, you'll see SRC and JRE library. Let's not worry about the library, but let's go to SRC, right click, go to new class, and then in this part, let's type in hello world, but you can't have spaces, and make the first letter capitalized. Make sure you choose public static void main string args and hit open. Alright, so here is your Java file. It is inside of our default package, inside of the SRC, inside of our project folder. So let's get started with this. Okay, so I'm going to explain this line for line. Pretty much the first line, don't worry about yet. I'm going to be talking about this a little later, but we got public class hello world. And make sure you have these brackets, the opening and closing ones. Those are very important. Okay, so next up we have our comment. And a comment is for the programmer, not the user. It tells other programmers what certain things do. It just helps you keep track of stuff. So I'm going to type in this comment. This method is going to print out hello world to the Java console, because that's what it's going to do. And then this is one type of comment. It spans many lines of the program, so we can make it a pretty large comment. And then you have to make sure that you have those at the beginning and end of it. This line, this is our main method header. Also, don't really worry about this right now. We'll get into it a little later. But it's public static void main string args. And we also have the opening and closing brackets here. This is a different type of comment. It's a single line comment. Anything that comes after the double slash is going to be commented, and the compiler won't use it. So let's just say print out hello world. Again, comments are just for organization, and so programmers can understand what's going on. So for this program, we're going to do one line of command, and we're going to tell the system to print out hello world. So system.out.println hello world. Make sure it's typed just like this. This is how proper Java syntax is. Make sure the S is capitalized, the hello world is in quotes, and make sure you have a semicolon at the end. Okay, now we're ready to run our project. We have three different options for running it. We can hit the run button there. We can go over to the run drop down menu and hit run, or we can do my favorite, the hotkey, which is Control F11. So I'm going to do the hotkey. It's going to ask me to save my files. Let's just check to always save the resources before launching. That way this window doesn't pop up every time. Hit OK. And you will see towards the bottom of your screen on the console that you printed out hello world. And congratulations, that's your first program.